Next up, a man who not only, or let me put it this way. So this guy surprisingly does outdoor networks since he comes from Hawaii, right? And you're like a combination of man with a great name and a company with a great name. John Imperial for, was it International Executive Systems, right? Please welcome John Imperial.
I don't know, am I live? Can you hear me? Oh yeah, I guess so. Okay, bonjour, guten Morgen, Doble Utra, buenos dias, hola si bom dia, if I get this right, ohayou gozaimasu. Let's see, Yao, Xiong Hao, okay, Hafa Adai, okay, and let's see if I know how to work this. Aloha kakahiake e alamai. For me, it is rise and shine and get up. It's 4:30 in the morning for me, okay? So, oh, cool, it works. Talk about outdoor wireless, this is cool. This is Haleakala. Does this work? Yes. That's Haleakala. This is Mauna Kea. This is 14,072 feet. This is 10,000 feet. We do have Poakaloa Training Center here. We have a satellite tracking center here. 50 miles, I can hit it with a wireless, okay, using 802.11, okay. So DEF CON, we have something better. I know a few years ago they went 22 miles, okay. So this is nice. You notice there's no foliage. So who just passed their CWNA? I'm just curious. Thank you. For the gentleman there, is there such a thing as a Fresnel zone, yes or no? Okay, I'm here to speak because for CWNE, okay, I had learned I'm not supposed to write about things that don't work, and when people tell you you're stupid, okay, because before I left here, they told me I'm stupid, okay, because I don't know how to make a KG 255 from Altasat Viasat work. If it's in alarm mode, the only way you get it work, you got to send it back. So a little about my background. Yes, I'm doing outdoor. My background, I've done satellites, I've done undersea vehicles, I've done airborne vehicles. I'm the first to put the microprocessors up in space back in '82. Okay, I've put 6 custom VLSIs up there, so we also did 60 gigahertz W-band between satellites. Yes, we do it in the 802.11 AD. And my background, as you can tell, is the DoD intelligence community. 30 years ago, I would say 35 years ago, they were ahead. I will tell you right now, they're so far behind the commercial and what you guys are doing. I really salute you guys. So the folks I met, did I get his name right? Not great, George. Okay, he's an ex-Navy vet, I salute you. Mark, I know you're second ID out of Korea. My familiarity out of Korea, to let Mark know, I put the Keikoic and the HTAC and then the ATO, the first IBM 3090s. I didn't know what a DASD was at the time. That's what it is. Okay, let's see if I know how to advance the slide. Okay, so there's 2 things I want to hit. I hope this is a timer so I know how to time this. This one here is an outdoor wireless mesh. Okay, already, for any of you, I don't care whether you're CWNE, CWAP, CWSP, CWWP, CWNA. What's wrong with the picture? Okay, the other one is a commercial. And for Gustavo, I think you'd be interested in this one because this is where we're pushing as a commercial to make money. It involves 4 countries, which is a big issue why I asked about regulatory questions that I did. And I'm trying to remember what I'm going to say. Because as I flow, I've got this wire. Okay, overview. I like the song you played for me, A Shot to the Heart. Okay, you play your game, you give love a bad name. This one gives wireless a bad name. I'm going to drill a little further into it, but the very first thing you find out, how many have had a customer tell you this? Then they tell you because you have wires, you're stupid. Okay? Yes, I had a senior officer tell me this. Okay? I can't do a dual slide Obviously, you can tell from the Intel background, I usually have 15 things that I can point to different things. But this is important. Ooh, whoops, wrong way. That guy, everyone knows the client is important. The clients I have are from 2007, okay? Oops, here I go again. I'm gonna get used to this. There's your user wireless access point. What do we notice about this? No external antenna. You're gonna have to use your imaginations because I can't do a dual screen. I'm gonna drill into this. From here to here is maybe 12 feet. From this user access point to that non-root mesh access point, we're going 70 feet to 7 to 8 walls. Each wall loses 3 dB. They swear it works. And bear with me. From that non-root access point to that root access point, we're talking 285 yards through trees and houses. They swear it works. So that's why I asked the question about the Fresnel zone. And at CWNA, you also discussed link budget. They swear up and down that doesn't exist either. Okay? And by golly, there's the wireless LAN controller. None needs wire, none needs power. The whole purpose of this, as you know, best practice, you never do a wireless mesh for guess what? As a backup if you lost power. This is what it's for. This entire architecture is meant for that. And amazingly, a contractor's utility truck knocked a pole down. For the first time, the entire base lost power. We lost 8,000 users. Of course, this doesn't work, but that was the case. So, Peter McKinsey, my whole process here, I'm going to focus on a process. Left-hand side, this is what the CWMP track emphasizes. Reality out there, especially in the DoD world, no such thing as requirements, expectations, okay? Oh, I like that. I see some heads nodding. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Already installed, implemented. We're talking several $1 million, okay? There's operational maintenance considerations. So I'm going to hit on that. Apologize because I've never practiced with this, okay? Here's the requirements. I'm not going to read it. You can know that's what CWMP tells you to do, okay? It's just typical system lifecycle, by the way. I've done software development. I'm VMware 5 certified. I've had it every, CCNP, which I've let expire because I don't see that it's for real value. I am the only person who also has the other vendor-neutral wireless certification, the IEEE Wireless Communications Professional. That's an 8-hour exam. It's a terrible one. I hate that exam, okay? The real world, they staunchly believes it is functional. I'm going to touch on that. And this is the part I'm not sure how to use the mouse, so I'm going to go to my follow-up. You can tell I've done, oops, this doesn't work too well. What I'm trying to do is, I actually got hyperlinks in here. There we go. Fresnel zone, there's criteria that has to be met. One of the first ones is you have to have 60% free of obstructions. Do you see 60% free? Number one, the user is in there. The trees are there. The access point on this one, the access point is behind these trees about 150 yards that way. Okay? The other access point is 200 yards this way for the mesh, non-root mesh. It works, by the way. Yeah, I know. Okay, I'll show you the trick when I found out what was really going on. Okay, I thought it was cool. Yes, let me, I don't want to steal my thunder. My chainsaw, I have a Steel Farm Boss 029. I'm quite happy to do that, okay? But there's other external considerations that you will see in a moment. This is from a potential non-root map. Yes, this wonderful light pole. All these homes are going to hit something way back over there behind that big pine tree. So my suggestion was to put on a pine tree, you know? Okay, this is view from the utility pole. That's on this side of the tree. We're shooting right through there to another pole behind here. Okay? So the Fresnel zone does not exist, according to this customer. Okay, okay, this internal user again. If you were coming this way, back out, yes, I think it would work. But we're actually shooting from there through these Areca palms. This one's only 75 yards through there, through another set of trees. Okay. Remember, you're talking to a customer who's hired you, that swears it works, okay? And they spent several $1 million, okay? This is something to me, CWP, they don't teach this in school too, by the way. Okay, tools that are out there. So they did use a tool. What do we know about this? Again, they say this doesn't exist. What do we notice? You know, you can read it yourself. You guys all know about this because you guys are here. If not, you wouldn't be. Okay? So they swear it can go 0.17 miles. True if you don't have trees. And you saw some of the trees I'm talking about. They're actually from the homes are bigger trees. Okay? And I'll drill into that a little further. Okay? They never knew this tool existed. This is free. This is on the internet. You guys can look it up. If not, you know, just let me know. Link budget. I showed them this tool. So, oh, they were excited because, look, we select antenna, you put the height here, all these wonderful things. What's the basic concept that's missing, folks? Ladies and gentlemen, you need a Fresnel zone. You need a free RF line of sight. So they went out there to stay with me. Look, I see it, but do you see the trees that surround it? And I'm going to the branch. That's not a problem. I can see it. RF line of sight, as we all know, is not the same as visual line of sight. I learned that working with satellites. Okay, here's a link analysis again with another set of vendor tools. Oh, whoa. And here we go. Again, does that exist? And I forgot which one jumps back, so I apologize. So yes, this was all presented. I got shot down. Okay, they were ready to fire me. My boss was so happy when they thought afterwards I was smart. That's another story in itself, and I can't get this to back up. So I'm going to be coming down this, and you can already start to see some of the thunder. That's where I'm going to get into the part about the, we can't chop down the trees. Okay? So real world, again, no such thing. I'm really open to see how you tell a customer that. Amazingly, they kept me on for the last year, okay? Legal regulatory, I'm not going to address it for CWP. You guys all take the exam. Real world, DoD, you have to have compliance with documents. For those of you who are familiar with the DoD and Intel, compliance does not guarantee security. And I will tell you right now, the Firefox for us on the servers are wide open. We allow Greece, 4 different sites in China, and Russia, and everyone else in Eastern European into our web servers. Okay? Yes, Internet Explorer is protected, but not that side. This is STIGS, DoD, FCC. By the way, we're the US Army, we're the US Air Force, pick your branch of service. That doesn't apply to us. Gentlemen and ladies, 802.11 has to be on licensed frequency bands. That's not true. More importantly, we're going to take this overseas into other countries. As we know, for example, I know Japan very well. They use channel 14. You can have 4 non-overlapping there. We're going to stomp on them. We do this. Okay? The bottom one here is where we lead into the extenuating. This happens to be a National Historic Landmark Register. I did find a way around it because it's a federal site. If not, it's a nightmare. For those of you into healthcare, JCO, HIPAA, the State Health Organization. I was a director for Hawaii Health Systems before. That part I actually know well. Okay. And not addressed. And you don't. This is what I think Cisco calls layer 8, layer 9. This can be a real showstopper. And hopefully this comes up nice. Oh, I get to mention this. Okay, why? Going back to the picture, remember, you're in someone's home. It's unlicensed. I don't care what rank you are, this is someone's home. They have every right legally. You can add your judge, advocate general. Okay? They're allowed to do it. This person happens to be the commanding general. He has 2 wireless TVs at 5 gigahertz. He has 3 personal 2.4 gigahertz LANs for the family. You're going to tell that person to shut it off just to use this? I don't think so. Okay? These are factors that people don't consider. More importantly, the spouse did not like that. Did not like the flashing light. She picked it up, threw it in the trash can. We found it, we put it back out. She picked it up, stuck it behind the credenza. Okay? Now try to make that work 60 to 70 feet through the walls, from upstairs to the access point 30 feet outside behind a tree. Okay? I was still fascinated because supposedly it was still working. Okay? This is something new to me. Okay? So, like I said, operational maintenance, additional cost. This wasn't really addressed. They kind of touched on it. And hopefully this link, yes, good. It did work. This is the non-root mesh access point. The power comes directly off the transformer, off the utility point, pole. How many of you want to go up there and touch it? Most states, I don't know about other countries, but I know in the United States, you have to have a licensed electrician to go up there. Okay? How in the world are you going to work on these or better yet, who's going to push the reset button? That's right under there. Okay? My vote was to get a long pole. Okay? Until I realized, yes, until I realized some of them are in enclosed enclosures. But we're actually, you see that green wire, that's the grounding. But not everyone was grounded right here. But right up here, not more than 6 feet away, and this is why for, I think, was it Robert Bart's, why I want the Anritsu M22760. It does up to 110 gigahertz with a special antenna, because we care about interference from other sources. Obviously, the power transformer doesn't care. It's noisy as heck. But we also have the street light that happens to be, guess what, wireless. I didn't know that at the time. Okay. Okay, that one. So this is a big cost because you need two people. You need the electrician to go disconnect the power. You need ourselves to go and put the reconfiguration. But you can't do it there, obviously. There's no power. Okay? You have to take it down. So that's downtime. Okay. Now, this is the actual implementation. This is the one I really want to talk to. We know about the Fidel zone. So as I drill down, these are all the mesh access points. These are the non-root ones, the ones in blue. What do we know about widths and whips? Anyone? Will they work with outdoor? The answer is no. The widths and whips, by the way, are inside the house. Okay? Unfortunately, the widths and the whips were the first clue how I found how this works. The widths or whips is not in line with the user access point. They are on separate ports on a switch in the home. Now you also get the picture how this is working. The access point in the home is hooked to, guess what? A user switch where the widths go. Different ports. The widths or whips is not in line with the access point. It doesn't work. So compliance does not mean secure, again. It also doesn't mean functional. Now, I didn't have the other picture. I had to try to clean this up so I could get it out of here. So for those of you who are not familiar with the DoD Intel world, the fastest way to avoid the Freedom of Information Act is to put FOUO, for official use only. It doesn't have to be classified at that point. It'll never get out. More importantly, there's no OADR, Origin Authorization Destruction Date. Guess what? It'll never be cleared, released. Fastest way to do it. So I cleaned it up so we can get it out of here. See these homes? One of my pictures, you will actually see the other Google map that shows more horizontal. You have users on the outside. It's a heavily residential area. Okay? Most of these homes, they have, guess what, teenagers. They're like me. I like to online game. They have their online gaming system. Good luck telling them to turn it off. Okay? I found deck phones, by the way. For those of you, I'm curious, we couldn't find the 5 gigahertz deck phones. They're there somewhere, though. I found 75 of them in this area. There's only 18 homes. This is the most impressive non-root mesh access point there. Okay? Why? Look where it's at. It's across the golf course, but there's a bunch of trees here. And they swear this is the one that was supposed to work. I probably could. I could go to hop, 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 hop. What happens when you do throughput if you hop, hop, hop? 1/2 reduction, 1/2 reduction, 1/2 reduction. I was so happy. I said, look, I got a 28K modem that can keep up with this. Yes, I really do have a 28K. I did use it in the last hurricane we had. Okay? While other people couldn't get on, I could. I have an analog phone line yet. Okay? There's a root access point. So the best access, again, it's a 2-story building. It's an omnidirectional antenna, as you saw. It's right against the wall. Best practice tells you what? All of you know you don't put it there, but that's where they were allowed to put it. My advice for those who want to do a PhD or master's study, what happens to the people in there who are slowly being cooked? It's on 8 hours a day, maximum transmission power. And because they don't know any better, they crank it past there. Okay? So you're exposed to it. There are people sitting no more than 4 to 5 feet away on the other side of the wall. Okay? 8, 9, 10 hours a day. Okay? Oh, let's see. Implemented topology. Notice the wraps are omnidirectional. Best practice, correct. Unfortunately, where is that omnidirectional antenna? Against the wall. It is not in the center, like they try to show a perfect building. It's always in the center. Everyone surrounds it on campus. You talk to it. Okay? That's not reality. Okay? And that's what you have to actually deal with the real world. Because they say, well, look, it shows wireless will work. You put an Omni and it works for everyone. Okay? So I know some of the other presentations have that. There's the non-route. They have an access point that's talking to this non-route. What do you normally do? In mobility, you have the client talking directly to the non-route. That's what you should be doing. Or you have a switch in a building. Everyone connects to the switch through your ports. That's why you have 802.1x, and we use MAC authentication bypass. It's not totally secure, as we all know, because MAC can be spoofed. Another thing they have to learn about. But you don't do this. Okay? What's the problem? You have an Omni. That antenna is talking to this one. It's also talking to you have transmit, receive power mismatch. Remember, I'm 12 feet here. I'm 60 to 70 feet through walls and outside there. Best practice. That's what it should look like. This will never happen. That's the middle of a national historic grounds. My answer, because I know I want to jump to the other one too, is you see right here all these light poles? Guess what? It's the National Historic. More importantly, the military police, who is much less ranked, lower ranked than a general or admiral, has their video surveillance there. They didn't paint it. I can paint our access points. I can put it there, and every one of these buildings I can hit. Okay? What I'm going to drill and move along to is you see all these non-routes that actually sit back there, or even if it sat there. Each one of them are on the same exact BSSID to 5 different routes. If the routes have omnis, you're on the same frequency. Remember, I don't care what vendor you are, so vendors, listen carefully to this. If you're doing a backhaul, they tend to be 5 gigahertz. They have to be at the same channel. It's unbounded. Guess what? Only one user. It's half duplex, one direction. No, you don't understand. All 18 generals will get on. Excuse me, you don't understand. It's unbounded, only one person on one channel in one direction. Okay? So that's reality, okay? I did try to write my paper that way. I guess no one likes it that way. Adaptive wireless path protocol, you already know what vendor that is then. It's half duplex. This was a tough concept for them to swallow, okay? But my smartphone works. What do we know? Because I have the other vendor neutral, and they emphasize, unfortunately, the cellular side. Yes, they have separate frequencies for uplink and downlink. Oh, why can't we do that for 802.11? It must have the same thing. It's a very tough educational process, especially when someone has spent probably in the excess of $2 to $5 million over the last 5 years, not counting the, guess what, the human resource. They were upset, and I pointed out, I don't cost $550K that you spent for 3 people, okay? Okay, I'm showing you what they should be. Non-route, yeah, but the reason why I put 5 gigahertz, I personally like 2.4, because if you have a semi-directional and you're in some limited environment like this, you're not going to have overlapping channels or adjacent. There shouldn't be anyone else there. It's a military base. So if you have highly directional antenna, you're probably good. More importantly, 2.4 goes further. 5 gigahertz, guess what? We can get AC and all the wonderful things. And so for people who said A, B, and G are dead, unfortunately, we're doing B and G, okay, because that's what you bought. So for vendors, make sure your customer understands the difference with acronyms. EOS can mean end of sale or end of support. They bought the end of sale product, okay? Because why? End of support for most vendors is 5 years past that, but you're buying older technology. Okay, this is the actual install, and this is the one where you get to see the wonderful picture. Vendors, be careful. For us who have to live the actual truth, they see this picture, and you can tell where you lifted it from, and they happily put, all I did is, between those green links, I put trees to try to get the concept of Fidel zone across to them. Okay, so if you put a tree there, they start getting it. Okay, the problem is who wants to go tell the 4-star that this is going to cost lots of money or you're going to tear it out. Okay. For those of you who passed military, it affects someone's officer evaluation rating. That's why they're afraid. Okay. I'm a contractor, so I don't care. Okay. You're right. They're willing to hire contractors because you can always fire them. Okay. We're also least cost technically acceptable. Okay. I'll touch that in a moment. Okay. Campus man, you see all of these routes? What do you know has to be behind there? A switch. Switch needs power. You don't understand, Miss Imperial. It doesn't need power. It's wireless. And you kind of hold your head because, well, I don't know what else to say. There's the wireless line controllers. By the way, you can already tell what the vendor is. With Cisco Prime, you need the mobility service engine. We didn't buy that license. Also, this wireless controller is missing 250 or 275 licenses. That's how many more buildings we cannot serve because they did not pay for it. So how do you manage this? Okay. There's a 5 route. You can see there's a lot of money, a lot involved here. Pick your place where you want the power. AWAP issues, parent-child neighbor, okay? And let me jump to my slide. There. You see this where it says parent changes frequently. I was standing here trying to figure out what do you got to count to 10 because I couldn't find 10 until you go through the exercise and do your permutations, combinations, and try to figure out how the path would work. And by golly, you figured out what's going on, okay? The vendors won't tell you that, but just do your basic math or basic probability or permutations, you figure it out. This is not a good thing, as 11, so forth and whatnot. Severity, major, just not a good thing. It's not in red, so the customer's happy. So this color can make the packet error rate. And like you said, depends what normal is. 7.81 didn't look bad to them. If you're trying to do voice, this is not a cool thing. Average SNR, highest SNR, no. It doesn't meet even this vendor's. This is the end-to-end. So here I am, 12 feet away. By the way, for you familiar with DoD, it does not meet tempest requirement. There are other classified equipment. You need 12 feet separation. Okay? They don't meet that. The credenza, I actually had a picture. It's underneath the credenza over there, but I didn't zoom it in. So you're going through all these walls. The microwave's about here, one microwave. The TV's there. The width is downstairs over here. Okay? The switch is in the basement. We're hitting this point, hitting that point. Okay, so 60, 70 feet to there, about 30 feet to here. The fence line here is 25 yards away with everyone else with their own 5 gigahertz and their own tri-bands and whatnot because they're commercial, they're residential. Okay, and we're going 285, I measured this, 285 yards through this wonderful big tree to hit the building that is smack against there. Okay, it was cool. I was very fascinated. It was working. I actually got it to work for 5 minutes. The wind was blowing. See, little tricks like that. And so I went through the tree. I got it to work. We also cheated and we moved the access point so I could shoot kind of through the thinnest part of the wall, through this wall, through a window, through another window to hit that tree, and telephone pole. So that's, if you're an RF person, they think this is really cool things to play. Okay, this is the other path. So this you can also see how I can get throughput. So I still can make 28.8K if I went this way. Okay, but I have to turn everybody else off in order to make this work. Why? They're all on the same BSSID. They're all on the same frequency. They have to be. It's a wireless mesh. How can they all communicate and do adaptive wireless path protocol if that's not the case? Okay, I want to skip there because I want to jump to my other one. Okay, this is from B&B Electronics. For those who've been in business, it's been out there since about '89. I just put the references there. The ones in red is what matters. Number 7 is the one I tried to get to them. Okay? Leafy greens are mounds of earth. We didn't have mounds of earth, but we have lots of. You shall elevate. Remember, the antenna is behind the trees, no more than 20 feet up. Okay, we're not going above the trees. You don't have no frown zone. Okay? Radio noise. We're 25 yards away from a heavily residential community who have their own. By the way, they can fly drones there. Okay? Drones, by the way, most of them work in the 2.4 gigahertz range. Okay, this is typical. Now you can see what I mean. Oh, okay, and let me go back. And I killed my presentation. I want to get that one. Where's slideshow? We don't get to do this very much, to be honest. I'm in a classified area, no laptops, no cell phones. It can make life very challenging. Where it start begin? No, from current slide. Does it come up? Yes. Okay. Now I'm going to show you the other one because I have 11 minutes. This is outdoors. So Gestapo, this is the one that someone's willing to pay for. It involves the US and 3 other countries. For those of you doing CWSP, this is very interesting because one of the countries that involves, they have no security on their cell phones. Okay? Obviously, this is Waikiki. Okay? This is a very big moneymaker because why? We have a lot of weddings there. People cannot afford to fly the entire family and friends and relatives there. So when they have the weddings, they're actually live stream video across the cell network back to their home country. If you average 110 weddings a day, think of the money involved here that you can be making, okay? The funny part, the customer who asked for it happened to be a big major telecom, actually 3 telecom companies from other countries. Okay, they're trying to bypass, as we all know if you're familiar with the telecom side, the tariff. Okay, you don't have to write a US carrier. So the test points for here. This hotel, this is about just a little less than a mile across to this hotel. I will tell you, water is a great reflector. I learned that. Okay, we're putting 600 megabits per second as, guess what, the link. The throughput's somewhere in about 400 megabits per second. I ran 15 Netflix, 5 YouTubes, and to really test it, I opened up the network so we could all the tourists in the area get on it because I had tourists running up to me asking, and they're carrying their baggies, why you come to Hawaii and you're on your surfboard over here with your darn laptop or iPhone is beyond me, okay? But they do. Okay? There's a backhaul site. Regulatory and extenuating circumstances. You have to climb on the outside of this building to get up to an antenna. Okay? We're CWNE or NP or something. We're not allowed to do that. You have to have a licensed electrician who is also approved by whoever owns the property to go up there. Okay? Yeah, it's really cool. I actually got to do this, okay? Now this one, backhaul sector, think again. Well, let's see. There, omnidirectional antenna. And we're wondering why no one can get a signal down there. Down here, but omni goes horizontal. So to prove the point, we picked it up, 4 of us, pointed out, wow, we got a great signal, I can get to Netflix. And they were doing Hulu and whatnot. I went and played games just to prove the point, okay? But again, it doesn't matter where commercial or DoD, okay? Question now is, again, the cloud. The cloud operator for this will be still yet another country, okay? Issue there. This is what it sort of looks like. Be honest, for DoD and Intel, this is the vendor I would have mentioned, and I would have recommended highly, except it happens to be the wrong country, okay? Yes, I do know, last 4 or 5 years, they got to participate in RIMPAC with the United States. They even sat in the Battle Command Center under Ronald Reagan. Got to see everything. In other words, they did their intel and took it back, okay? This is the 2.4 antenna. That's the 5 gigahertz. There's a backhaul going back to the other antenna, hotel. I was brought in for one simple reason. They couldn't make this work. CCI and ACI, everyone understand that, right? They honestly thought everything had to be on the same channel. So this hotel and this hotel over there and that hotel, we're all trying to talk on the same channel back there. So they thought I was fantastically smart when I actually got it to work. All I did was change the channels. More importantly, and this is important, the vendor here, because they're kind of dependent, economically, they're good friends of ours. Diplomatically, not so good. Military, no. Okay? They actually, one thing I like about, you see all these wonderful things? They have a little controller here. I can put 8 sectorized antenna into one controller, 1 PoE into your network infrastructure. We're good. I've got 360 degrees covered. Okay? That's why I wanted them. Cost, I know it was mentioned. Luis, I think you mentioned cost. For them, I know Cisco, Aerohive, you know, Ruckus, you guys pack it up nicely, put bubble wrap and everything else. They just throw it in with newspaper and ship it, you know, DHL, FedEx, however to get here. If it doesn't work, not a problem. We'll ship you a new one. It's cheaper. Okay? I like that. I came from the Cold War days, okay? We built satellites and turn it around. If it didn't work, you throw another one up. Why? It's quicker. But we're putting all our eggs in one basket today. There's a site coverage, okay? Again, you wonder why I couldn't get a signal here. The patch can only pick up so much. It's only got so many degrees of coverage. So think if I'm a user here, okay? I see my time. This I put up here. This is a moneymaker if we can make it work. If I have 40,000 users during an event right here, what's the capacity or the throughput on one of these antennas? I don't care what you have and which vendor. It's not going to handle 40,000 users. So the telco guys had a good idea. And so for Heather, she's going to be my best friend now with IT, DRC, or whatever, because the answer was the telco guys had the right answer. In a disaster, they roll up mobile carts. If I put mobile access points on it, I can save 40,000 users. The question is, who do you go to the backhaul? Because how do they make money? You've got to ride someone's wire to get back on the internet so they can stream all these wonderful things. Okay? Yeah, I won't tell you the numbers because yes, it does sit on the street lights. Okay? This is why I know for the DoD they can do this. It's not painted, so it's not stealthed. Okay? This is for the state of Hawaii Department of Transportation, why they have their wireless. Okay, so I cheat because notice the antenna mast. I'm going to put our Wi-Fi on existing antenna mast, no cost. Okay, cellular concepts applicable 82.11. The wide frequency bands. I know everyone's mentioned about 3.5 to 900 megahertz because I actually work with that. So guess what? AT&T, by the way, is testing two things. They're wide gig, and they're also testing their wireless across the power lines on the utility pole. Okay, so that answers my DoD need if I need to do that. But these antennas, remember, as identified, I think, by David Coleman, these are antennas. They don't care other than frequency. So if it works, then guess what? 3.5 gigahertz or 5 gigahertz, that antenna from the cell phone company will work on yours. Okay? Technically, okay? I know I'm getting to the end. According to that, 3 minus 55. So on the left, if you're in the DoD, these are vendors you've probably never heard of. Okay? General Dynamics should have been what the Army picked. Why? They build attack lanes. They already know how to make this work. These are companies I never heard of for some of them, but because I worked on that above TS area, we got this one vendor to work 52 miles across in Central Asia. It took us about 4 days, though, to get the stupid antenna aligned. Okay. Yes, my laser pointer doesn't go 52 miles. On the commercial side, these are the vendors I would recommend you take a look at. And for the vendors here, I would study them because this is your threat outside the US. This vendor happens to be in 150 countries, 125 ports. They're also in a couple countries in the Caribbean. This vendor, for Red Inter, I would seriously look at them because why? They happen to have offices in your country, okay? They're in 185 countries, 52 ports. Some of these are in what we call the mining. For emergency responders or mining when you have to do business or on an oil rig, you don't care it's 2 megabits per second. You've got a connection. You don't have to run a wire. And with that, I think I'll end. So hopefully someone got something out of this. Okay, thank you.